This is John Wright, who is Wright by name and Wright by trade. He was a wheelwright. Served his time in, when was it, John? When you were 17? Down to, who was the man, McCormick? Willie McCormick in Carnlough. And that was for 4 years, and you weren't paid for that, is that right?
No.
During that time you made what, John?
Made carts for horse carts, and windows for houses, roofed houses.
Well, what about the types of carts that you made?
I made hay carts for going in rocks of hay.
Those we know as hay lifters or hay rick.
And
you also made what do you call the solid wheel?
The staff cart. The
Right.
cart with the spoked wheels. Made that for the farmers.
What is that other cart that you had with the wheel and the axle turned together, isn't that right?
That was what's called a wheel car. That was made for hilly ground.
Right. Why was it better than the other car?
It was only better used in some jobs for mountainous ground.
Right.
The lanes was narrow, and that suited the narrow lanes up onto the mountains.
Right. It was, how wide were the wheels?
Oh, they weren't very wide. The wheel was only about 2 feet 6 in diameter, a solid wheel.
Yeah.
It was on a solid axle, and the wheel and axle all turned.
Right.
They were mainly made for small type of horses.
Right.
Ones about 12 pounds high.
Right. They also made various barrows.
Aye, box barrows for cleaning out in the farmyard.
Farmyard and peat barrows.
Peat barrows for wheel peats and the moss.
And peat spades.
Peat spade shafts.
Right. So the last cart John made was 1940, is that right, John?
Around 1940.
Yeah. So this year James McNeill has asked John to make this cart right from scratch. Now, what he's holding there is the axle of an old cart. What are the various parts of it, John?
Well, it's a good weight of piece. It's a 100 I would say.
Right. What are the various parts then? The sleeves, if you just show what happens to them.
It's that's what they call the metals.
Right, if you just take one off.
Pan that keeps the wheel on. And then a ring. And that's just the metal, that's the piece just to be driven into the wheel.
Right. What's the part of the wheel that goes into, John?
That's it goes into the center of the cart wheel.
Aye, but it's called the
metal.
the nave.
Metal.
Aye, but it's
Driven into the nave.
into the nave.
The nave's the wooden part.
And the nave was made of.
Made of olive. Special dumber grown at home, but it has to be very dry.
Yeah.
Dried for many years.
So we've been very fortunate getting a bit of locally grown elm
Aye.
Of Careen, isn't that right?
I got it in green porter man supplied it.
So James Dunlop supplied it, isn't that right? From Careen.
Aye.
We have a cut-out block, don't we, of what the nave was made from?
That was a block, but it was a bit short in the grain and decided to get another set.
And that is elm tree. The naves were always made of elm. Was there a reason for that?
For some reason, it was because it was so hard.
Yeah. So that block ends up looking like the nave in the centre there.
That's the same we're making now.
Right. Now this nave has been worked by John. He's cut out the mortise, isn't that right, John?
That's right.
And he's about to drive the spokes in. Driving the spokes is a very skillful business. Now these are the spokes. The spokes are made of what, John?
made of oak.
Oak. And how many spokes were there usually in a wheel?
12.
Did it vary at all? Would you have got more?
No, I've only seen one cart in my life with more.
Yeah. What made you decide what diameter this wheel was going to be? Was there any?
Diameter. But
Yeah.
there were an old cart, and it was sold to bats, but it was made especially for a Clydesdale horse.
Right.
And I presume that would be the dead on right height for that. So that's Clydesdale horse would be using that. And it's 4 feet in diameter.
Right. So the finished wheel will be 4 feet in diameter.
4 feet in diameter.
Now, you're working this all out from memory, isn't that right?
From memory, yeah.
And you haven't made a wheel for over 40 years, 50 years now, 52 years. And you can remember all these degrees and shapes. And he's not working from any plan at all. The nave was cut out and worked by John. It recently had its, what do you call these ring metals put on. These were...
Hook. It has to be hooked, you see, a hook on every side to keep it strong enough, keep it for splitting when you buy these. So these is very tight, you see.
Right.
They're made right to 1/8 of an inch too wide. Next to end wood, and that leaves them, they're very tight when they're grabbing.
Now, has this wheel been offset to allow for the dishing?
Well, it's offset about 1/2 inch.
Can we see the dishing? Which side's the dishing going to be on? Towards the inside?
That's the side the dish is at.
Oh, the dish is to the outside, right?
Aye. That's the outside of the wheel
Yeah.
here.
And how do you allow for that when you're doing it to keep that so symmetrical and so perfect?
It's the way that's Martin has cut.
Okay. The spokes, as we say, were made of oak. And the nave, just show us how the nave works, John.
Well,
Or sorry, not the nave, the felloe.
the fella,
What were they made of?
they made a polish.
And how many of those would normally on a wheel?
There's 6 in each wheel.
So there are 6.
Two fellas, 2 spokes was into each one of them.
Right.
There's the wheel of it.
This wheel has been set up ready to be marked out for the fellows. That's right. Could you put the other, have you any others there? Stick them on. So there are 12 spokes of oak and there were 6 fellows of ash. Was there any reason why ash was used?
I don't really know. I think it was good for standing the pressure of the iron hook. When that goes on, it goes on very tight.
Right.
When it's made 3/4 or 7/8 of an inch too small, and then it swelled up to the heat,
Right.
warmed up to it's red hot, and put it on and broke down.
Right.
Tightened on very tight then.
So he's about to drive the last spoke of the other wheel. So would you like to go ahead, John?
Yeah.
Tell us the problems with driving the spoke.
Well, it's made that part there. This part's 1/8 of an inch bigger than what that is.
Right.
That part there. But this part is the same thickness as the top edge of the mortise. That means that this is 1/8 of an inch bigger than what the mortise is. That side
Right.
is 1/8 of an inch big. Well, that makes it very tight.
Okay, so you're about to drive this now, and the big risk in doing this is that you might split the nave, and that's why these metal hoops are put around it. And also that's why you've got that support to stop it splitting at the top. Fantastic fit, John. Is it not a bit of a worry to you to know whether you've got the spokes at the right angle?
Well, they find their own angles. Angles the same in each one of them.
Right. Have you a means of measuring that, no?
Aye. There's the way the end of the spokes made there.
Right, just show us how.
That was used. It was caught in the mortise, you see. Well, that's the same with that. That was down onto to that mark.
Right.
And the front of the mortise is cut by a straight edge straight through. Dead line with the one right through.
Right.
And then that's taper. You cut the back edge to suit that taper till it goes right down to these two lines. That makes the hole the right wideness.
Right.
And the spokes made, that's the jump for making the spoke. It's that bottom part is the size for the wheel, but that top part's bigger, that's the size for the end of the spoke.
Right.
That makes it an 1/8 inch too big.
Right.
And that makes it tight when it goes on.
Right. But this was literally all done by hand and experience after 50 years. Okay. If you just shape one side, that'll do fine.
And you start a bit of hard work.
Right, you can just compare it, nice and clean, even. That's fantastic skill, John. Lovely. So, what are the next stages now that we're involved in this?
Cutting these all, cutting the mortars, cutting these tenons here.
What size will they have to be? Do you know?
They will be about 3/4 inch for a tenon there, cut out.
How deep do they go into the fellow?
Right through.
Oh, right out to the rim. They do. Right. That's a lot of work. How are you going to do it? Do you drill it first of all, or how do you do it?
I'll make a bore a hole on first and then square it and pat it. But when I get these here ready, I set these on and then I mark them on below.
Right.
Square them up and then a gauge then. Two markers, and that, they use that for marking their mortise hole, you see. Use that for marking their mortise hole, you see that. That's how they're all marked then.
Right.
You see, you can mark them in. And then their holes board and end. A dowel goes on there. That drives them on.
Right.
You see that part all later on.
Okay. How long would it normally have taken you to build a wheel right from scratch? In the old days.
I have to tell that because in the old days we worked an 11-hour day.
Right. You also told me that you'd worked on water wheels, isn't that right? Whose water wheel was that, you told me?
Malvis was the name. Malvis, Lant Mal.
And whereabouts?
Way down in a place called Tullyotler.
Yeah.
Near Tullyotler, limestone quarry used to be.
Right. Was it Gallenach you called the place?
Galna.
Gallenach.
Galna.
Uh-huh. And that was just a water wheel on a farm.
It was a small Lant Mal on the farm. But they done Lant for the country too, you know.
Right. Okay, John, it's a week later since we were working at the wheel, and we've now completed one wheel. I want you to take us through the makings of this. We'll just have a wee look at it close up first of all, and then we'll talk about it. Looks fantastic.
That's the front side of it.
Right, turn it sideways on till we see the dishing. Can you hold the board that shows the flatness? Yes. Right. That just shows how exact your work is. Turn it slightly so that we see the dishing on the other side now. No, that's it. Right. Good.
Right now.
What angle of dish is there in that? What's it supposed to be?
3/8 an inch.
From the off the centre.
Taking it from there to there. And
Right.
then to the spoke.
Right. Okay.
No counting on this. It's
Okay.
measured the spoke and the edge. And then on there you get
It's 3/8 of a difference. Right.
3/8 a dash.
Tell me, how do you remember all these measurements?
I don't know, but still mine.
Because after, well, it's nearly 50 years since you've made one.
It is. Well,
You had to prepare the spokes.
and the spokes, and then I had to use that angle to get them properly marked.
It just show us how you did that.
That's all you see in it. To get the two markings and that's here, you hit a trammel.
You call that a trammel?
Trammel.
Trammel.
If we're marking that was for cutting the dead on
Right.
here, like that. That was the one for that, and then another one I had that was for cutting marking these two. That's how that was marked there, you see, get it perfectly through. See that there?
Right.
Gauge the thickness of the tenon. The gauge set here.
What do you call it, the tenant?
They call that the tenon.
That goes into the mortise.
The hole's the mortise.
Right.
To gauge that, you hit them all the same and they're done with a gauge. Mark right round, you see, every one of them. And then I hit turn the wheel up and cut that out.
Right.
That
Okay.
gets it perfectly through.
Okay.
But you mark these heads, set them on. You hit all set about a quarter of an inch back.
Why is that?
Well, up here, they've had it before they go in tight. I'll show you that too.
Okay. Right. Now, what do you do to these?
Well, if you understand, the mortar is cutting these. I
Right.
get them marked through this cable, but I get them mortars cut and then they're put on. Then you hit to saw the joints in between every time.
Right.
And top end till you get them all a perfect fit. Right round it.
Okay. So you're telling me you have to keep a space between all these fellows.
Aye.
Just show us on the completed wheel now what you've done.
Well, over the whole track, if you got them up, drive on the wedge here, tighten them, you see, you can get 3/8 an inch
Right.
more space over the lock.
And
That's an allowance for tightening.
and the reason for that was
Once the hook goes on,
Right.
tighten in.
okay. And also your tenants don't go right through the wheel there. Isn't that right? Just point out.
No, they're only an 1/8 an inch back there. That's allowed for the hook tightening down.
Right. That's when the hook goes on. It tightens down.
And there's a dowel in between there.
Right.
That's an oak there, that's made for the next wheel.
Yes. That holds the fellows on.
That holds them down.
Now, once you have the fellows on, you wedge them in. I see little wedges there.
Aye. Aye, they wedged down.
Okay. And also then, at what stage do you start shaping the wheel? The inside of the wheel is flat.
Aye.
Or no, sorry, which is the other way around?
Well, they finished the front side of the wheel first.
Yeah, right, sorry. Go
They
ahead.
went up with a good big two player.
Yes.
And that's the same there you used for.
Okay.
That's all screwed up. We got all this here. When you up down then, you can a gauge mark round
Yeah.
to keep her an eighth of an inch of taper in that. And that's to plane off when you hit all the gauge mark here at the wedges of your ram.
Right.
And
So
then you
just
cut-
lift a fellow to compare the thickness of the starting and the finish. Pull the wheel out slightly from the bench, can you? I pull her out. That's fine. Good. So you can see how much it's been beveled on the other side. There's a lot of work in that. A lot of work.
hold on.
John's going to talk about the remains of a cart that we have salvaged here, and the way it was made. It's different to the way he had made it. But what's different about this, John, than the way you do things?
Well, that's a round tenor.
You could show us, lift the other one up there.
There's a round
Just
there.
hold her steady, just to get her focus. Right. Why would they have used a round tenon instead of this?
That was a faster way of making it,
Right.
but it wasn't as good a way.
And you're saying he wedged the tenon in by cutting it in the middle.
That was wedged.
You point that out?
Wedged through the middle of it.
Right.
Sometimes it broke that piece off to some side of the grain or it straight.
Right.
And if the round tenon was wider, it was weak at the fella here badly because it was less, we had less hammer here and here than we had the
Right. And then you were talking about the base of the spoke as well.
The face of the spoke.
The base.
Oh, the base, is not right and not.
What's wrong with that one?
That there has a square shoulder. Square shoulder.
Right.
That should have been tapered down to about half an inch at least, or 5/8.
Right.
I think there's an old one there to show that. Make a difference. You see that one there
All
was
right.
tapered?
Yeah. Is that out of the same cart?
No. Two different parts, a different one made
So
them.
that you've tapered yours then like that.
One's tapered the cart, aye.
Right,
They're
okay.
stronger that way.
Look. This is looking at the inside of the nave. So the bases of the spokes all come together
They all come together and they all meet up.
right. That's interesting. And that wood's the same, that's an elm nave, is it?
Aye, that was alum.
Aye.
Them was oak.
Okay.
I could show you the metals, something in that would give you.
I do that for an example, slowly. These metals are the sleeves.
That was stuff in there with a heavy,
These are the sleeves that are put in, right?
very heavy hammer.
It sits in
Fed
there.
it, first fed it to, we up and tapered it, fed it down to about 2 inches or 2.5 inches. There. And then it was finished off with a heavy staking hammer to make it as tight as possible.
Right. What stopped it coming out again?
Tightness.
Yeah.
That has to be all fed it to chisels and behind.
And what happened if you made it too loose? Just fall out?
Well, I seen that on some of them old ones where they were too loose and there was bits of material like bag and
Aye.
old bag drive in along with it.
Right.
Old, another bag. That wasn't a good job, it wasn't a stand up to the load.
Right. Wednesday the 8th of July we're in the Brashane Museum. John Wright is going to take us over some of the old parts we've collected over the years. What's that you're holding in your hand, John?
That's one of the old tools, a trommel, trommels and them, for rounding the size of your, determine the size of your wheel.
This really was a compass, is that right?
A compass.
A compass, That one belonged to John Davidson of McNeill. Did you know his father?
No, I didn't know.
He was a joiner. Right. That's the nave before it's been worked, isn't that right?
That's our nave there. Never has been cut out.
That's right.
There's the 2 marks on it for the spokes. They're put on the lathe.
Right. I think I'll just zoom
Then you
in.
need to step it round with a compass to get them
12 spokes
spokes
go in there.
marked on.
Okay. That nave's from the Keelty brothers up at Ballynulto, that one. Okay, go ahead. So what's next?
That then's the tunnel for the size.
Okay. And you can talk about that completed one there.
That there was for forming the shape of the shaft.
Right. It's a spoke shape.
You walk backward and you pull it that way.
Right. Okay.
Around it.
Okay.
That was to do the rough part of the work.
Right. Then those are bits of wheelbarrows, I think. Well, what about this nave here that we've got? You're saying you reckon it's been well made.
That was well made. That was a well made job there. That's part of the trauma, that.
Right.
That was hand welded.
Right.
The heat on the anvil.
And you can't see the join of it at all.
It was well made, that.
Right.
And it was put on hot. When it was made, it was too big for about half an inch too big.
Okay.
Measuring that round this, and then measuring round this has been half an inch, that's been half an inch less.
Right.
Then it was warmed up and drop on, cooked. The way it was done, then tightened down.
Right.
That's a well-made hub there. And it has the taper. The taper spoke.
Oh, right. That's what you were talking about earlier there.
Aye.
That the spokes were tapered.
Them spokes was all tapered and that.
Right. And then is it not strange that all the spokes fell out then if it's so well made?
Ah, but that was rotten.
Right.
Only because that's rotten. Them spokes would have been that tight when they were down, but you couldn't have moved them out. They're down an eighth an inch too big next to end wood.
Right.
Always an eighth an inch too big. They're down with a sledge tight. Then the shears goes on when the thing goes rotten and comes into they like a warm hair.
Yeah.
They slacken them. Warm weather in the summer sometimes slacken them.
Right. What about that wheel that's against the wall there? What comment about the making of
That
it?
wheel was used for a spring cart. To go to a spring cart, there's springs on them.
Right. How do you know that?
Well, you easy know it because it's far lighter made and smaller in the hub. There were springs in that used to be the motor car.
Right.
And it was light shafts for the cart, a light type of a cart it was used by men round the country selling stuff for
Right.
maybe lifting eggs used to be.
Right. Okay, John, what are you doing today here?
We're cutting these mortars and the pellets.
Right.
One cut there, this is one cut not.
Okay. Now let's see, where is it going to go?
We're going to go into these two here.
Okay, I'll move around here. Okay, just do it very, very slowly to see how you fit this in. Right, put it down so that they can see how much tension there is, and you have to pull them.
Now you see how much tension there is there.
Right.
Very hard to pull that.
Okay. So you've got a gadget that pulls these things together. Okay.
I cut something on there and then
Okay.
That's it now.
Okay. That's very, very tight fit. Right. Good job. Now, what's the next stages in this work?
Well, I had to go on right down to get the circle on.
Right. And then you have to take these off again, don't you?
Oh, I have to sew joints in here, all the joints to get them all meeting.
Right. And you have this, what, 3/8 of an inch gap?
See, it's an inch space you have to go for the whole 6 joints.
Okay. Right, just give it edge on, please. Just edge on, that's fine, so I can compare what you've done. Would you like to point out these, the reason for these wedge shapes here?
Well, that's for the wedge there.
That's to allow it to go into the holes in the first place.
If you look down at the hole there, you see.
Yeah, right, I can see it here.
You see the hole for the wedge.
Yeah, okay. You can see the wedges there actually, if you just
There's
hold
the wedge there, that's left with the edge of the wheel. But then the end of the spoke was cut back a wee bit.
Right.
That allows for tightening in when the hook was on.
That'll all pull in.
Aye. After the worm hook was on, you'll hear it crack.
Does the hoop not also burn into the wheel, so it would need less damage?
You want it to burn as little as possible, you know, you have to use water immediately once you get it on.
Yeah. So the hoop really doesn't burn itself into a bed in the wheel?
No, it shouldn't be burning right.
Yeah.
The only reason they heat this hook to swell it, make it bigger, so it goes over the wheel.
Right.
And then as it cools down, it tightens down to its own size again. It's made always about 7/8 of an inch too small.
Right.
Start and then not allow it to tighten and hold.
Now, this side of this wheel that you've got is the flat side, is that right? Just keep that one in your hand. This one here, that's the flat side, isn't it?
The flat side there, that'll be the flat side.
That's the outside. That's the outside.
Outside,
It's flat, and the inside is the one that's beveled, where your hand is.
outside.
Right. Okay. So then, when you have these fellows on, you'll have to bevel these afterwards. Is that right?
Oh, aye.
Finish. Okay. Just been telling me that he has worn out one. Show us the blade.
Not the one before.
That's the old. That was your original blade.
That was one of them. There were a whole lot used before that.
Right. And
That's the new one now.
so what's the difference in price that you were saying for these blades?
There's the price of it there. £7.88.
That's James McNeill price.
That's the new price
Aye.
for that. And that whole plane, I bought it.
Just hold it there to see it, please.
That plane blade and all was 28 shillings when I bought it.
When did you buy it?
About 1938.
It doesn't owe you much money then. It's 54
No,
years old.
Still going good yet. It was always
And what were you saying then it would cost now?
I don't know what the plane would cost. Maybe
Yeah.
30 or 40 pounds maybe.
A lot of the planes that we have up in the museum are wooden planes.
I have some of them.
What's the reason for that?
They were the older type of plane. Them was a new plane at that time coming into the market.
Yeah.
That in there was 16 shillings, that was new.
When did you buy it?
Around about the same time.
Was that Stanley in those days?
That was Stanley, aye, that was Stanley.
So Stanley was
record.
right. Those two firms are still going 50 years on.
Oh, aye.
That's great.
That's Stanley, that one's record.
Yeah.
Right there.
What about the rest of your tools, John? Are they as old as that?
Well, that was homemade, that gauge. I made that out of an old lint mill handle.
A lint mill?
Aye, lint mill.
What handle? Oh yeah.
The handle that scuts the lint.
Oh yeah.
An old one.
It was made.
I made that out of that at that
It was
time.
made of sycamores, not right? The handle.
Sycamore.
Right.
It's the way it's put together, you see it tightens.
Right. Well, yes.
That's made to suit, and I had it all them years, and it was always a good working tool. You can say it whatever
Right.
size you want it.
So there's very little of this wheel has been made with machines.
No machines. That's a double gauge, and that, I bought that away at that time too for 2 shillings.
Right. That was a lot of money to you in those days. What were you earning then, John? You were telling me what you were earning then.
I was earning nothing. You did a wee job maybe on the sideline at night or something, you got a shilling or two, and that's how you got it up tools. And I had the most of the tools to buy after I started to work then, when the time gone.
Right. But then when you started to earn for the first time, what sort of wages did a man earn? And
the first job I had was at the building up potato factory over there, and the wages was 1 and 10 an hour.
My goodness. 1 and 10, that's nearly 10p in modern money.
Full-time joining.
Yeah, right. And then you went to Ballylumford, they paid better.
After that I went to Ballylumford, and I mine working a long way, I mate one day, and he says we're getting a rise today. He says we're £0.50 an hour from now on.
Right.
And that was the same year at the pay as you earn started. Next, the money we had went away, and that we didn't get, and we're no better off.
Right.
Shows you the whole year's earnings. Some of the years I never missed a day, even working on Sundays, and you still didn't go for the £300 over the year.
Yeah. £300. Modern day money, that would be about £5,000 or £6,000. Today is the 16th of July. It's a week on now, and John has started work again after the 12th holidays. He's going to demonstrate the use of the trammel. Can you pull that out, John, and show us just the way that you fit it in? Okay. Right. And then the compass that goes right round. Okay. That marks the wheel, is that right, John?
That's right.
See if I can show the mark on it.
You see heads there?
Yeah, just... Okay, fine.
Well, if you want to see the dash in the wheel,
Okay.
that shows you the dash in the wheel there.
How much is that?
That's about half an inch there.
Right, that's... And the dish is towards the outside.
Aye.
And the outside edge of the wheel is vertical, perpendicular, isn't it? Flat.
Aye, but the taper down an eighth an inch after I get this face finished.
Okay.
I have to keep it that way till I get this perfectly square here first.
Okay, show us how you get it square.
So use the square there for squareness.
Right, just that gives some indication how true you are.
I must do that.
Yeah. What's the diameter of this wheel going to be, or the radius?
The finished height would be 2 feet.
Now, just show us what you're doing with the gauge.
Marking it for the
You're using the gauge.
for the size of the hook.
Right.
The hook's 2 and farther away. That's how much I had to go off that side there.
The hoop's 2 1/4 inches wide.
Aye.
And you're marking out where the hoop is going to lie, is that right?
The hook will be sitting there.
Yeah. So it lies closer to the outside then, does it?
Aye, it does. But that's how it has to be tapered.
Oh, right. So
Tapered away.
so it'll look as if it's in the middle in the end, right?
Aye, well, look.
You have to take how much off the outside there, or the inside?
Roughly about half an inch right round. Tapered
Yeah,
off
right.
to there. Tapered to here.
The way you have the other wheel done.
Aye, very soon.
Could we bring the other wheel over and just compare what you've done? Now, this is the first wheel you've done, right?
That's
Okay.
a finished job there, you see it. Till that.
And the top edge it's 2 1/4, is it?
Aye.
Right. Okay, that's very neat. Finished edge. And the one that has to be finished. further thing John's pointed out to me, how well the wheel balances. It's actually sitting on its own with no support at all. John has the wheels painted with an undercoat. What are you using, John? What sort of paint?
Just undercoat.
Yeah.
A good type undercoat.
Yeah. What did they used to use in these wheels?
Just be red lead or orange lead.
Yeah. So we've got these wheels ready for hooping now.
We're ready for the outside hook.
Yeah. We hope to do that this week.
That's week coming now.
Okay, good. It's the 7th of August and we still haven't got the cart hooped yet, John. So in the meantime, John's making the frame of the cart. What are you doing now, John? What bit's that you're cutting out?
That's a gate rail from Morrison Wright.
Right. Where are they going to go? Can you show us in the cart?
Going on over there.
Right. That's more.
There.
How's that side spar held in? Is it mortised in, or is it,
Morrison.
or bolted in? No, but where does it go?
Bolted on there.
It's bolted on.
Bolted.
Right. Okay. What wood's the base of the cart usually made out of?
Not right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, the summer mom said was clears was the name of it.
But is there any? What would you normally have used in the old days?
It used to be larch and there used to be different blood from different timbers and good plank even.
Yeah.
Not all clears from the whole part, not this. But both part not that little ash.
Right. There's a lot of mortising to do.
Aye, pay more to season.
And then show me.
These down before
Okay. Right.
it.
Right. But the other bits there that where the axles rest on, what are they made from?
Made ordinary plank. Just ordinary plank.
Right. And just show us approximately where they're going to go.
Not prevailed.
Right. And the axle will rest under.
The actual not center line, not flex, center left.
Right. Okay. The axle's bolted to that. Is that right? Is the axle bolted to that board?
Oh, there are big pans right down through. That's one of them there.
Right. Oh yeah. Right.
Down through that, right down through.
Okay. Would you just show us where that? Just show us where that pin's going to go on the axle here, if you can.
Down through there.
Right. So it goes through and bolted out the other side.
And then a split pan goes down there.
Right. Okay. So would they have taken that off then? Would they have taken the axle off?
You take the axle off at any time.
All right.
Sometimes they have to take them off to get them greased, you see.
Right. Okay, so what's the next stage of this cart?
Well, the putting on the side is the next stage, and I have two bolts that run right down right out through.
What's the idea of those?
They hold it firm and strong. And one go across the centre and there, through there, hold the whole through. And there's the one up here.
You have to get that threaded yet, though.
I'm going to thread it. I have to do it.
Right. And then you're ready for the axle, is that right?
Well, if I got the wheels on from the axle on the one.
Do you put the wheels on the axle and then you put the cart on the...
On the axle.
Right, okay. So then what, you've just flooring and sides to put in?
That'll be
Oh yes, you've got those back...
front tape rail, that'll go on, that sits in the top up there.
Right,
That sits there.
okay, good.
And that's the back door there.
Are you going to put any design in the back door? There usually is some fancy design.
There's some design on the back door there.
But was sometimes in the back board, was there not a design as well?
That's board in the back, all that right after.
Sort of panel, right. Okay, that's great.
Very nice wood, John. That's very nice.
Hello.
Those were all just cut out of one piece, weren't they?
That's nice.
Well, was it cut out of that block originally? Was it cut out of that block originally? That's, my goodness. Okay, so next week we're going to see most of the cart put together.
I know it would rather see the whole cart out there.
And then if we get the wheels hooped, we'll have our road trials.
All right.
The launch for John.
That's
The launch for
okay. 14th of August. It's 1 week since we filmed this last, John, and it looks totally different. You put it all together now. You've made the sides since last week, and you put, now what do you call that pin that you put right down through where the axle goes on?
Gudgeon pin.
The gudgeon pin.
Aye.
Right. Then the axle will go on there with the wheels.
That drops into the axle. That's the whole there drops into.
Right. Yeah, I think we saw that last week. Okay, good. Right. Okay. I'll get a shot looking down on it. What weight of meal could this cart carry?
One weight.
Right. Right, that's very neat fit.
Now you see, I got rid of that iron was on there.
Okay.
Both hands there.
I just put it in.
That's just gonna
John's just made this afternoon.
make it that was down below there.
Right. The lock pins go on there, and then just point out where the other pins go, John.
Well, that's the marks for them there. They go on the front two handles.
Right.
And then the two handles has points on them, but down into them holes. That has the
Do you have to make those bits yourself yet?
Huh?
Do you have to make those bits?
I make them that. I just do plain iron. Just go iron. Make them out.
Where do you get that stuff nowadays?
I'm on the roller of well supply.
All right.
But about break well, not to see a boat class and the shape back and around and then go to there.
Okay, right.
That holds the door, but then there's an iron to make the round ash.
Okay.
And a loop on there for the shaft or the crabs goes on.
Okay.
It comes right out round and back round here, and then there a stay comes to here up to that. And there a pan comes out through here with a key on it. Holds the door firm.
Good. This is the cart from the front, and you can actually get a shot. You put a reinforcing strut in the middle, is that right?
Well, that was a design was on all those carts, very clear. That part of the fence red or
In the
orange.
panel, right. No, I was looking at for the thing the axle rests on.
Not where it's supposed to be, not where it's right down there.
Right.
And there's another iron stay was on there that comes to here up to that part there.
Yeah.
Make it firm.
Are you going to put cart lamps in this?
I don't know, might be. I can get one.
Right. Do you remember what the speed limit for a carton was? Do you remember what the speed limit used to be for a carton? I think it was 10 miles an hour.
But there were whiles when they were from home to the market, read the man was driving was drunk and they damned them as hard as they could go.
Right.
I remember them coming home many a time. A boy standing in the middle of the dirt, bothering away at the horse.
In the museum I have a fine of a man in a cart with no lights. So when you're going to paint the cart red now, is this what happens now?
That's the undercoat just to protect it in case very warm sunny days would come to get protected for Could get cracks on it and snaps.
Right.
It's too hard.
So what's the next thing? The cribs and the hoops and the wheel.
The cribs and that, when the guy gets the wheels back, they'll be put on. So you can run a bit now.
Right. Okay, that's marvellous. Thank you very much. Today is Friday the 21st of August. This is a week on from last week, and John's been making the fittings for the cart and the side parts. John, just show us what you made the fittings for out of.
That's the material I started made now.
Right.
There's a slight end to take that side carrot. That's off an old carrot.
Right. Where did those come, or where were those have gone on the cart? Just show us where they were meant to go.
I was turned off an old carrot. Not them on there.
And you've made these yourself. You've forged these yourself.
I made the new ones for it.
Right.
Because these islands is rusted and done.
Okay. And the various support straps that run around the bottom of the door.
That piece of the strength.
Right. And those are for the side crib boards.
That's for the crib.
And they have to be made to fit very tightly. And then you put the board onto them.
Well, there's a lot of work to do in the board yet.
Right. What all do you have to do to the board yet?
Well, I have a fella going on there very tight, and there's just a wee patch here below that, and then there's a nice end cut on like that.
Right.
Same here. Cut down.
Was there ever a board put on the back as well
Oh, aye.
to fit across?
Aye. Oh, there's a board. Back down, finish that, head, put stuff on it.
Yes. All right.
Then there'll be, and these here paddles.
Oh, also on the back, right? Good.
One there. One there. That was a paddle.
Right, I see how it went, yeah.
That was a cut off. Iron made that for the job.
And you've made all these yourself?
I made that yesterday.
That's right. And you made them out of all these bits here?
A lot of stuff I had left yet to work.
Okay. So it's very nearly complete. The next shots probably will be the complete cart, or the hooping, we hope.
Well, they written on the wheels come.
Right.
I had to put the nails in them to come. And then there's the wheels not going to come.
All right. You call those the metals?
The metal side.
Yeah, these sleeves that go onto the shaft. What are these called, John?
Travelers.
These are travellers. And you've yet to make new ones, is that right? Right.
That's the old ones. When I was working, those down on there, yeah.
Right.
That's the chain that was over the horse's back.
Right. And that went over, what part of the straw was it?
It was over the straw.
Right, okay.
The back.
And then if they wanted to tip the cart, they just unhooked that.
There's a back one there, it's not too bad, that would be the chain.
That's the chain that went over the top of the horse, over the back.
There's the material that we're getting on it. And then that will be the part of the run the mask here. That's the part of the board that can run.
Right.
That part before it. And then about the hook on the glass. There's the chain over the back.
Right. And you're going to make those yourself? There's
Why?
been no blacksmith, okay.
Well, making the chain.
But what other things do you have to make on the shafts?
There's things called teas goes on here.
Right.
A half a road goes there.
Okay.
Just, it's a fan goes right down through that boat and then a T-shaped top on it.
Right.
That's for the Dutchman,
Okay.
or the dock.
Jim's showing us how they used to bend the hoop. Okay. How did you fix your diameter on that, Jim?
You have a wee small wheel, we call it a trommler,
Right.
and you run that round your wheel, and then run it along your bar,
Right.
and that gets you, it's on a reasonable distance.
Okay.
And then at the finish up, you check it all over again, and cut off if you don't need. Well, your hook has to be, it's according to what way your wheels cut. If the gaps are wide, you have to tighten or move.
Right.
You roughly, now that pair is cut about 3/4 tighter than your wheel.
Right.
That means when she cools down, you should pull them all in.
What did you build into it, John? What did you build into the wheel for its contraction?
Well, we always left 3/8 space between the fellas so it will tighten in.
Right.
Allow for tighten in.
And then your spokes and all goes.
Aye, hold up. Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. We can switch that off maybe now. Well, how did you work out what sort of curve you wanted to put on the thing?
Well, that's trial and error.
So there wasn't any particular setting that you had for
No
it?
particular setting. You get near enough.
Okay, fine. So this would nearly, it's a bit bigger than a wheelbarrow.
Bigger than the wheelbarrow.
That's right, okay.
That was roughly half the.
Now is the hooping plate set up? Did he put new bands on? There's a better join on them than the older ones. When did you light the fire?
You warm a wee small piece or two in the forge.
Oh right, I see the rings are built into it.
Oh, you got them.
Right. So what time did you start the fire?
6, around 6.
So that's not too bad, so you're going about half an hour now.
Well, it would be, it must be around that.
And both hoops are inside, is that right? Now, you said you needed special turf for this. Why is that?
You want the flow turf at the top.
Right. What's special about flow turf?
I don't know, they seem to blow between themselves.
Jim's got a modern invention here for blowing the fire, but the heat from it is quite strong. Jim, when did you last hoop a cart?
About last year.
Oh, you do it as often as that? Dr. McGowan here, she keeps a lot of horses.
Well, if you're racing around there, some days doing, he's done 2 or 3 years.
Right. Where are all the traditional, the anvil? These are all the old tools over here. Stand back a little bit.
Tools there in the boat. And there's a block there we use for punching on.
Oh yes, that's called a swage block. They used to use that for cutting out the odd shapes.
They're punched in there.
That's right. Incredible lot of old shoes. You keep everything.
You go over there, there's hundreds more.
There's the thing your father was talking about for measuring the steel.
That's that there.
What do you call that thing?
What do you call that thing? A wee wheel or something?
Just a wee wheel? Right, okay. Wee wheel.
And whether there's a proper name for it or not, I don't know.
What else have you got of the old time here?
Well, the bellies is away.
Oh, you have them away.
They
right,
used to be there for years.
right. You used to put them in... In fact, there's the arm of it. There's the arm of it. Right, that's fine. You're on your starting blocks.
Cut it, get away. Cut it, cut it.
I shall.
Now hammer it on. That's lovely fit. That's a classic now.
This won't go anymore till it's finished.
No, wait a minute. Pull the shutter back full now. Probably a mini. What's it say? A mini. Hmm. 23. Yeah, you go.
Thank you.
Not yet.
I'll get steam there.
Yeah. Actually, if you went the other side, Mary, you'd get the steam blowing away.
Yeah.
Towards it. The hoop is now contracting, and the joins have closed in. Still a little warm. Oops. Right. See the charcoal coming out of it. What?
Come on, John, take it. Better than a sauna bath. know what you're getting in.
Yeah.
Times with all that steam in it.
What happened if a hoop fell off? How did you tighten a hoop again? And re-weld it? That must be a bit embarrassing when that happens.
Well, I never seen it happening when I was going on. You know, if you can rate like it. I don't think it would happen on a wooden hoop.
Yeah. But then you know, when you had these traps, how did they get the rubber around the wheel then? How did they put rubber around it afterwards?
Shot on a wee groove.
Right.
And that's it on my chest.
And you put it in afterwards, did you? Right. You know the way your trap's done, Mary, is it got rubber?
Oh, the rubber comes out. That's, you put the other bit on first,
Right.
and then the rubber
That's
goes
fine.
in the groove. Sam says the gypsies, when their wheels get bad, they have to wet old rags and put them round the wheel to try
I
and
used
cool
to
it
do
in the
that in the
summertime.
summertime, wet the bag
You know,
and hang
whenever
it
it
over.
gets, the hoop gets heated up.
Seam is closed in now. 3/8 of an inch has disappeared that John had allowed for contraction of the wheel. So that's it. The last wheel, John, you had done was 50 years ago, is that right?
That's over, Pat.
Over 50 years. So, you happy enough about that?
50 years old. Now I was working on and on for the fire station.
Right,
Concrete sort work.
right. So the last one you saw was done at Carnlough. John served his time to when he was 17. Worked 4 years for no money.
No, I wouldn't much money there.
I was paying. I had to pay a fiver to get away at school. Oh, that was it. I won 5 years for that.
Times were different then.
All right.
Well, thank you very much, Jim. Today is the 5th of October. How many months is this since we started this, John? Was it May?
I couldn't tell you. Nine.
Well, the big day has finally arrived. We've got the wheels hooped and the wheels have been put on their axle. John's, since our last shot, he's put in the sleeves. Those have been hammered in. Where's the end of it? Where's the end of the sleeves? Oh, you got them well. You got them well in. They're absolutely flush fitting. Right. Okay. Great. So, what's the next thing we do now, John?
We left the cart up and set it on.
Just as easy as that.
Well, make it as light as possible.
Right. Okay. Now, since we last, you've completed the cribs. You've made all the parts for them. Just show us the bits that you've made.
We made the whole lot.
Right.
Iron and all.
You did all that yourself.
Aye.
There's none of this is bought stuff. No. Okay, that's fine. You strip her down. When did we start making it? May or June?
Well, we started to think about it about May. It took a long time to gather up stuff.
That's right. Those two blocks behind John's legs were the naves of the cart. pointed out that the axle has a deliberate curve in it. Just demonstrate that, John. The idea of that is to turn the wheel. The wheel should be closer in at the bottom. Hold that, Billy. You'll watch the wheel. The wheels will pull in at the bottom. What's happened? Right. Okay. Okay, that's the right. So they're deliberately angled at that to the ground. Is that right? Okay. Right. That's very interesting. Now the big moment has arrived. Bring your wheels forward.
No, but you better take a road further back, won't you? First before you get over.
You're going to have to lift it right over the top of the wheel. You won't be able to do that.
Better wait for help.
You'll need help. You can't get them inside the wheel. You've got to go over it. Gentlemen, away you go.
We're maybe hardly ready yet. You want to show it on that one keep on.
Right, this is the crucial crunch. Will the two pins fit into the holes? That's one in. Well done, John. Congratulations. Perfect. Right, what about wheeling her out into the sun now? Now you can see the way the wheels are turned in. I think we should get Mr. McNeill into it.
That's a different thing, eh?
Lovely looking. That's right, the two of you get in. Now, all we need is some harness and you, Billy. That's what. It's well balanced. Well, John, are you pleased with it? What's the glasses? What's... Okay.
Name plate you're going to get. You need to see the harness.
What's that black thing stuck in the inside, John? What's attached to? What's attached there?
Leg chains. When you hail it up, the horses. The chains from them, you see, they can
to stop.
them at the shop and they pull their forward.
Oh, right, okay. Should you not have a little step for stepping up into the cart?
No,
Like they used to have in the trap.
That was always used there.
You always use the hub.
Oh, I stepped in the hub.
Right. This is quite an historic day. Look.
I just we hadn't had the mare broke that you could have. Whenever when we be out and we'll give you a shout.
Okay, right.